Okay.
I did get to see him twice.
Ray was good that night. I actually somehow or another ended up with that big sequenced R that was on the stage. I don't remember how that happened, but that was I guess my first concert at Foster before they had the Coliseum. I guess I saw Little Anthony and the Imperials.
I saw Little Anthony, I saw James Brown, I saw Dionne Warwick, which was a special one. I think that took Charlotte Ray too.
Yeah, Kissy Ray.
You bet you.
that was and what was the final? I think the final concert I saw at Foster's before they moved everything was B.J. Thomas.
You know, I was about to say that was the last one I remember seeing there.
And I remember that Paul Hendricks and we were right in the front, and he got us up on the stage to sing "Hooked on a Feeling" with him.
Wasn't Ronnie Brown either in a band before that, a warm-up band, or played with his band?
Do you know who played that night with B.J. Thomas? Glenn Butts.
Okay, I remember Glenn.
He's the one, and he still plays music. I mean, he's just played music for his whole life, but he's still playing up in Birmingham.
Who?
Yeah, he's a good guy. Glenn's a good guy, but I remember that. And then, of course, you know, we went on to different concerts, and Elvis and the Beach Boys, and, gosh, there were so many people played the Coliseum, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones. I mean, it was unbelievable. If we had just had enough money to buy a ticket to every one of them, we'd be in good shape, wouldn't we? And Hendrix played. I mean, it was just like, it was unbelievable.
Linda Ronstadt.
Yep. Played on the quad. That's right.
Cool.
That is right. That was some good time. You know, we grew up at just the right time to hear that music in our area.
Well, I've thought about it a lot because a lot of stuff went through there, and you think about it now, and that kind of shit, the money and all that took over, and you don't see stuff like that. Radio stations don't put music things together.
No, they don't. They don't. I still like that picture of me and you at the fort with just the back of your head.
I know.
Me and you and Robbie and Tiger Jack and I, we laugh about that all the time. That was a great. The fort had some great concerts. I mean, like we talked about last week, I guess before.
Yeah.
We became rich and famous about the Almond Joys.
There were a bunch of really good bands that were popular at the time that played through there. So
that's right. That's right. They all booked them, and they all came through there. There was like the Rubber Band and the Almond Joys and the McCoys, the Swinging Medallions played. I mean, it was just like if I look back on it now, and I think it was just like a surreal experience.
Hey, it was just growing up.
You're right. But to a lot of people like, wow, you really saw them?
Hey,
like, yeah.
Let me tell you a showstopper that happens, and part of it is because of her demeanor. But anytime Susie and I, and this is in the entirety of the time we've known each other, anytime we're at a concert and some young whippersnapper comes up and tells us how cool it is that old people are still going to shows and all that stuff, you'll look at them real deadpan and say, I saw the Beatles. And,
yeah.
and as soon as she says that, they just turn white,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God, you mean you saw a white buffalo? I can't saw them, but
I remember a lot of concerts in Houston. I had second or fourth row seats to see the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
In the first concert in the Reliant Stadium at that time, it was called Reliant. I think it's NRG or something now, but we stood up the whole night, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And they were great. Keith was right in front of us. And I keep thinking about, gosh, how lucky I was to have been in that setting at that particular time. But I had seen them in the Summit before when they were doing, and and I think it was a Bridges to Babylon tour.
Okay.
And the Chuck and the original Stones came down, and they had a little center stage set up, and they came and played all the old Rolling Stones songs on that center stage. And they, you know what they started out with? Once upon a time, you dressed so fine, you threw the bums a dime in your prime, didn't you?
Okay.
And I thought, man, that is too cool right there.
You know, my Rolling Stones story is pretty simple. I saw them in 1965 at Legion Field.
Yeah.
And 30 years later, also at Legion Field, I saw them again.
Is that the poster I had, the 89 Steel Wheels?
No, I saw them in 95.
95, okay.
Years later, and they played in the same place. There was about 10 times more people there the second time than there were the first time.
Yeah, I think I remember it was Jeanette and I, Bill Cole, and Bill took his son.
And the Beach Boys played, and that was when Glenn Campbell was subbing for Brian Jones.
Okay.
Sorry, and so Glenn Campbell was playing with the Beach Boys that night.
And he subbed. Yeah, he did. He subbed for Brian Wilson, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Brian was in his room, if you remember that song.
Story time's over.
Yep. Man.
We done.
Great stuff we lived through and went through. You know.